Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our webinar of QualTrack on the quality assessment for adult learning providers. I'm Manos Andreadis from Asset Technology from Athens, Greece, and I will be your facilitator for the next approximately 1.5 hours to work with our webinar. The webinar features distinguished professionals in the field of adult education, offering a platform for engagement and exploration on the possibility to adapt and exploit a quality assessment model for adult education institutes. So this webinar is a very good opportunity to benefit and improve our experience, learn from each other, and create a strong community which is going to lead the adult learning market. Some technical issues first. Please feel free to post your comments on the chat. Hello, Joseph. We have the first message, Adonis. And feel free to share your comments, and also during the whole webinar, ask your questions. We will be in position to come back to each one of you and respond to your questions that you will post on the comments. I will pass the floor to our first speaker, Ms. Jana Brabkova, President of the Association of Adult Learning Institutions from Czech Republic. Jana is the person who is behind the whole concept of QualTrack project. She was the person who designed and the idea and the work plan and inspired all of us to work with this. So, Jana, the floor is yours.
Hello, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to greet you on behalf of the Association of Adult Educational Institutions of the Czech Republic, which has been advocating for quality in adult education for many years. In a time when technology and living conditions are changing rapidly, quality adult education is not only important, but essential. If education is poor quality, the participation's motivation decreases, and they may be reluctant to enroll in further education. Statistic in the Czech Republic speaks about maybe 10 to 20% of people engaged in adult education. This means that 80 to 90% don't use the further education. So we aim to change this together with you. I hope you will enjoy this webinar, and we stay with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jana. QualTrack project is founded under the Erasmus Plus program, and our webinar today is implemented under the umbrella of the Skillman.eu network, one of the biggest international networks, which counts more than 800 members in 95 countries in the world. So we are really glad to have with us the president of the Skillman network, Mr. Giovanni Crisona, and I will ask him to inform us about the network and some of the very interesting initiatives that it develops.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much, Manos, for your introduction and for taking care of the webinar, inviting such important speakers and our members. So I'm very glad to be here to show you how we think as a Skillman network with the new initiative of the DQF.eu portal, how we could integrate, how we can integrate in our perspective your valuable work with QualTrack project. I'm glad to talk not only by my name, but the name of the network, that we are very happy of your commitment to stay in the Skillman network and to promote our community with new tools, new solutions. And I think that QualTrack is a very valuable product and solution that you envisage to distribute and to offer as a service to our audience and to our members. So thanks so much. I'm thankful because you bring quality and excellence to the network. So my idea when I was thinking about QualTrack initiative was to show to the audience how this project can make value for the Skillman members. And I prepared some slides to help myself. So in the program of today, okay, we have different perspective in which we will learn about the QualTrack project. My commitment is to put the project, your research and your solutions in connection with the portal on digital badges, so to make a sort of overview on how we can integrate your QualTrack results with the DQF digital badges and the portal that we have provided, that will be launched officially in the next hours, and that will be connected to the blockchain solutions before the end of this year. So in sum, the DQF brings endorsements which are created, issued and verified under the umbrella of the Skillman community, and that are deposited, that are resident in that are stored in the Skillman's European digital credentials for learning infrastructure. This is true not only for persons, it's true also for organizations, and we have thought about that. We have decided that our commitment is not only to provide a service for our members, but also to enlarge this opportunity to other organizations which are not yet or which are not members of Skillman. And in this regard, we expect anyway to move on involving as many organizations as possible. And so we will bring your solution at the attention of our audience, which is quite larger than the only number of members, which are around 1,000, but we are representing 95 countries in the world. And so this means that we can extend your name, your reputation, even outside the European borders. So the structure of the digital qualification framework that the Skillman network is supporting to provide this service to its members, is the structure which was created by the Mozilla Consortium, Mozilla community, is the one approved by the World Wide Web Consortium of Open Standards, and is a structure of qualification framework which is provided in one side by the issuer, that in this case will give you more details, but is like your consortium. The holder, which can be a person in this Mozilla scheme, but which can be also an organization, as I will show you later, and the verifiers, the organizations or the person which are interested in having information about the certificates that are shown by the holder. So in your case, the work, the mission that you have fits perfectly with our portal mission, because you have the idea to verify, to check the quality and to issue a certification. And so this is what exactly the portal, the DQF.eu portal of the Skillman network, is supporting. So the portal provides the possibility for organizations like QualTrack Consortium to release certificates and to receive endorsements. So to give endorsement to providers of adult education using an existing digital infrastructure and receiving a upper level badge of the community, which is there to ensure that everything is compliant with the quality regulations of the digital standards. So in this regard, the DQF.eu platform works with Open Badges version 2.0 standards and implement software which is approved by First EdTech Consortium, which is the biggest and working with Open Badges and the Mozilla community. So what you can do, what the final providers of adult education can receive from this collaboration among the QualTrack Consortium and the use of digital qualification framework infrastructure. So they can receive your endorsements, your quality checks and evidences, posing you, making you to become a real business partner of the DQF platform. So you can use the platform, you can draw through the platform your work, and you can release final badges which are officially recognized by the community. So in this regard, your endorsements can be embedded in the standards of Open Badges 2.0, and the QualTrack can become one of the official labels that the platform can add to the audit's results. So in sum, this is the work that we can do together. You have to provide the contents, the procedures, you have to provide your standards for the quality approval of the final beneficiaries, which are the providers of adult education, and then you can use the platform to extend your arena, to extend your audience, and to address your work, which is qualified and valuable for the Skillman community, to the large number of members. So in sum, the DQF platform, which is a framework-oriented platform, can become as a quality booster for your project and can keep alive this principle of voluntary application, because it's not something obliged by the law, but it's something that the community is asking from you. So the community is asking that you progress in your work and provide this support, which is very important to increase the quality and the value of the organizations that will be engaged, that will benefit from your work. So in sum, thanks so much. These are the reasons why I'm glad of your work and your commitment to stay and to remain within the Skillman network. And I'm sure that this project will be a very successful project. And knowing you, Manos, and the colleagues, I'm sure that you will do a great job. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Giovanni. This is really interesting, and I think this is the added value, the benefits of the international networks, that they can develop synergies of mutual benefit for all parties. What we described with the certification and the official label for the endorsement of the other education institutes indeed gives us further ideas how to make our project sustainable and give added value and go further from the initial plan that we already implement. So this is something that we can further discuss and put into a table in order to see this synergy and go our activities even beyond the initial scope as planned. Thank you very much, Giovanni. Looking at the comments, we can see participants from Italy, Greece, Germany, Croatia, Austria, and also from the Africa continent, Daniel from Kenya, Yunusa from Nigeria. A very warm welcome to all of you. And don't forget, and Slovakia also. And don't forget to post your comments on the chat, and we will check them and reply to all of you. Now I'm going to give the floor to Mr. Miroslav Parvonic, project manager of the Association of Adult Learning Institutions. Miroslav is the project manager of QualTrack project, and his role so far has been very critical to reach the successful stage that we stand now. Miroslav, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Manos. Good afternoon, everybody. My task now is to introduce you our project and the outputs we reached during today's almost 2 years of our joint work in partnership. So we are heading to the finish of the project, but still we are in the phase of piloting. Our presentation is divided into different parts. My first part, or second at this moment, I will introduce the project as a whole. Then my colleague Claudius will introduce or focus mainly on the process of assessment, quality assessment we developed, and then Antonella Marianosic will speak about specific areas and specific criteria we were thinking about and we implemented to the model. And at the end, we will open the panel discussion. We start with discussion among partners, and we will be happy if you join us and will ask questions, and we can also share our experiences from every country you are representing here. So I have a very short presentation. I think I can do this very quickly, but I still think it's important to mention why the adult education is important. It was mentioned by both speakers before me, and I think that the main reason is that we are living in a very dynamic and changing world, and the criteria or requirements for people, for workers, for not only adults, but we are talking about adult education, is changing rapidly. So it means that the system of education needs to adapt to these changes, and also it is crucial that these changes and services delivered in education should be in high quality, because we often speak about why quality is important. I have the other side saying what are the consequences if the education is not quality, if it is of a pure quality standard. And I think it's a good difference to see this from this point, this perspective, because at the moment, from the point of view of the student, it's definitely loss of money, loss of time. But what's more important, it's also loss of or the person's motivation. It has bad consequences to the professional career, and it somehow put down whole the system of education. And if we are talking about the quality and needs of education, we need to strive on quality and to fight for good education for all students and participants in the education. Briefly about the project, as Manos said, it's a project funded from Erasmus program, and it's 2 years project. We have 5 partners. The project has different outputs. In general, we developed a methodology, or at the beginning we developed a framework. I will speak about briefly. The framework has own methodology of assessment and the procedure how the quality assessment is delivered. We also prepared a set of learning and study materials for institutions and also external assessors who are implemented in the system. And we are also, and it's still under development. We are developing an online tool. Our focus is to develop quality framework that will be sustainable and as cheap as possible for working day-to-day business. Next, okay, the framework itself, it stays on 3 pillars. We tried. In the beginning, we were thinking about the system of rating in different levels. Let's say in 5 stars rating, saying the 5 stars are the best institutions and best quality. Less stars is less quality. But at the end, we came to the decision that our goal is not to distinguish how good the institution is, if it is good or better or the best. We just want to say the education is fitting some basic quality criteria, and the main idea is to help institution to develop. It means that to public, we present just the information if the institution fit the criteria, and internally for the client, for the institution, we work with them in different areas, and we try to map their situation, how good are they in working with teams, working with clients, in developing studying materials, providing feedback, ability to customize their services and things like that. So we are focusing mainly to support the institutions in their effort and to help them to be better. So the first pillar is self-evaluation. It means that we developed a self-evaluation questionnaire, which is for disposal for every interested institution. The institution can go through the questionnaire. The questionnaire or the whole system of qualification is very simple. It's just binary, saying yes or no to the criteria. There's no scale. It's just saying we have a list of criteria, and if you meet the criteria, it's okay. If you don't, it's you can't get the QualTrack certification. So the process is very, very straight. It's just yes or no. And in the first phase, it's a self-evaluation. Then, if all the questions are answered in a positive way, saying yes, we can go to the second phase, and this is the external assessment. It means that we have trained, or in each country, our partner trained a group of external assessors who know the quality framework, and these people come to the institution and will check if the answers the institution filled in the questionnaire were right, were appropriate, and also make some I don't want to call it inspection, but some kind of check, looking into the documentation, looking and checking the facility the institution uses, talking to people. It means talking to employees, talking to trainers, talking to students, and checking if everything is corresponding to the criteria that were responded in the questionnaire. And if all these, if the external assessor confirms everything is okay, the institution is eligible to get the QualTrack certification. The certification, the duration or the time period of validity is 3 years. After 3 years, the institution, if wants to use the certificate in the future, must undertake other re-evaluation, but it's a light version of the evaluation and just checking if something has changed or not, and if the institution is developing. And I haven't mentioned the third pillar. This is, from my point of view, it's the most important one, because it's the, let's say, customized support to the institution, to the education institution, saying, and the external assessor, when he comes or she comes to the institution, he tries to help the institution in every different area, identify in what phase the institution is now, and what are the challenges, what are the opportunities, what are the weaknesses, and how the institution can develop in future few months, years, and what are the possible targets of quality the institution can reach. So this is the third pillar, which is completely internal for the institution, and the goal is to support them in their development. Here are areas of the assessment. I will just mention them very quickly, because Antonella will go in depth. We have 6, actually 1 and 5. The first one is entry requirements. We have a set of, I think there are 5 requirements that needs to be met for the institution if the institution can take the further assessment. And these entry requirements are binded mainly to the legal requirements. Some we have, I think one criteria is about having insurance, having some history of the institution, because we are not. We believe that startup institutions are also important, but we want to talk about quality with institutions who already has some history. So we have, I think, 2 years history, and in each year the institution has performed needs to perform some amount of education in some amount of hours, and some extension of learning courses. So these are entry requirements, and then we have 5 areas covering institutional background, which is about mainly how are the premises of the institution, how the institution is working with, what are the working environment and conditions for employees. Then the other area is teaching team. This one is about how the institution works with lecturers, with teachers, with instructors, how the instructors are incorporated to the creation of materials, in designing of courses, in a delivery of the education. It means if how the institution works with the collecting feedback, how the institution is able to, and this is actually the third area, the learning process, how the institution is able to adapt the learning process to the specific needs of the institutions, or a specific clients, or specific needs of the students. It means the learning institution should be able to come to the institution, make some analysis, define what are the needs, education needs, training needs of the workers, of the employees, and then based on this information, the institution should be able to develop customized course or another type of learning delivery. Other area is didactic background. It means tools on multimedia, how the institution respects intellectual property, and how the institution is using legal software and things like that. And the last one, it's client approach. It's how the institution is able to provide the client with some documentation. If there's some client service, client support, who is able to communicate with the client, who is able to solve the client's problem, and things like that. In each area, we have something what we called badge or badges. It means that the basic model is needs to be meet strictly in all criteria. If the institution wants to reach the QualTrack certification, they need to fit all the criteria. But in all areas, we have some specific criteria which are voluntary, and in case that the institution also meets these criteria, the institution can get some bonus, some extra badges saying, hey, we are better in this area, and we are able to perform this more than the basic is set in the basic certification. So this is the basic areas of the model. And now very briefly about the pillars. I already mentioned the self-evaluation questionnaire is very simple. The institution fills the online form, and the questions are just yes or no, and the institution can support these questions or their answers with different documents, links, and other support materials, which can be used in the further step by the external assessor, who is coming to the institution and checking the validity of the information and the truth of the information, if it is true or not, what the institution stated before. I think we develop very hard criteria for enrollment of external assessors. We want external assessors to be professionals in adult education. They need to have some years of experience. We are also very strict in confidentiality. The external assessor needs to be very careful about and respective, because he or she is working with confidential information, internal documents. So we are very keen of this area of work, and we have some codes of ethical codexes and some other documentation ensuring the quality of assessors. And the third one, it's the self-development pillar. As I said, we try to support the organization in finding answers for the questions where the institution is, where the institution can develop, and we support them to find them the proper goal on their way, because we believe that gaining the quality in education means to go step by step. So it doesn't make a sense to focus on the highest peak of inequality. It's important to know where you are, where you should go, or would like to go, and what are the steps you need to take to get there. So this is the main idea, and this is how we are working with the quality model. Here's also this is one example of the self-development. We have some questions, and we are trying to demonstrate a scale or some way from what point from initial point to excellence. So the institution can find itself on this scale, and we also then support the institution defining the steps how to go to the next level. It means to go to be proficient, advanced, or to be excellent in the area of the service. So this is my last slide. Sorry, maybe I was quite long. Our goal is not to get this institution certified. The certification is a bonus for the institution. It's a good tool how to demonstrate the institution is keen and it's aware about the quality of educational services that the institutions try to deliver. But our goal is mainly to support the institution in their own development to be as quality as possible. It means also that we somehow supporting the engagement of the institution and their responsibility for their quality management process. And we are heading towards it's called culture of continuous learning. It means we want institutions to see a quality in perspective in continuous development, not just one stop and one time some kind of evaluation. The quality needs to be a continuous process, and the institution needs to know this and to take respective actions to be better and better. So this is my final slide, and my colleagues will introduce the model in more details. Claudius will speak about the process, and Antonella about the criteria in different areas. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Miroslav. Very enlightening presentation, which describes in a very comprehensive way the QualTrack approach to quality assessment and a roadmap to excellence that the partners envision with the implementation of this project. Now we will pass the floor to another member of QualTrack, Claudius Ilhar, President of the Association of Adult Education Institutions in the Slovak Republic, who will explain us the assessment procedure, complementary to Miroslav's initial approaches of QualTrack assessment system.
Hello. Hi, thank you, Manos. Hello from Bratislava. We are very happy to be part of this project. I would like to thank Czech Association that we have a very good cooperation for years. We also, in the area of quality assurance, Czech Association and Slovak Association, together with universities, created years ago certified course for lecturers, and I would like to say that this project backbone, or this project base cornerstone, is from the Czech ESF project that was run years ago, and of course together with experienced partners we created methodology based on also other models, not only the one mentioned. We had a look on managing quality of adult education in Europe, which was the initiative of University of Barcelona, European Adult Education Institutions EAA, and also we were inspired by Swiss model Educa, German models, and we have experience also with ISO, and recently we ran a project that was focused on European peer review methodology. What is important to say that all the partners agreed that we will not follow the philosophy of stars as it is in hotels, five-star hotel, four-star hotel, and these kind of things, because of recent developments in adult education. I just escaped from the conference where people from European Commission, people from Business Europe, and also from our Ministry of Education, they were discussing today individual learning accounts, register, quality assurance, and these kind of things. So it's a hot topic in Europe, how to make a quality assured register of institutions for individual learning accounts. So we agreed with the partners that we will not follow the philosophy of stars, but we will create kind of benchmark. And as Miroslav already told us, we have the system of badges. If someone is excellent, for example, in counseling, in adult education, the institution can receive the badge. And this is the basic philosophy, and it's connected with the recent developments in our countries. So this is what we need the most. As for the how did we proceed? As for the evaluation procedure, first of all, what we did, we attract institutions to become aware of what we are doing in this QualTrack project. We made a webinar for institutions. In January, we had more than 70 institutions that were interested. In a few days, we had more than 10 interested that they applied to be a part of QualTrack piloting. We then did a webinar for their internal quality specialists, so they know how to fill in the self-assessment questionnaire that we created in this project. And of course, it wasn't just that we sent emails to those institutions that were going to be certified, but we also provided the counseling for them, kind of call center. So if they had the questions, they can directly call us or send us an email. And yeah, that was it. And in this project, we make some exceptions, because in the project proposal, it is written that just one external evaluator will visit the certified institution. But as, for example, in Slovakia, there is a new Adult Education Act coming, and this is inspired by also QualTrack, other models, and we need 3 trained experts going to check that the institution provides true and valid informations to self-assessment questionnaire. So also from previous projects, what we did, we trained the evaluators. One of them is always from ministry or state institute. One of them is from our association, and we have also experts from other associations, because if you are going to visit, for example, language school or school that is focused on requalifications, or for I don't know, coaching, different fields of adult education, you should have also experts from that field, so you can check really what is happening in that institutions. And yeah, that's our positioned what we are trying to do. And yeah, it is in line of the new Adult Education Act that I have mentioned. This is written in this way, and the chef of this committee will be always from the ministry. So this piloting we are doing also this way. So we will be more perhaps transparent, and we use also the previous project experience, the project 1 European peer review methodology. And what to do next? As I have said, the situation in countries is different, but what we have in common is the micro credentials coming or being in place, starting individual learning accounts, registers, and so on. So we, in advance, we propose to our national occupational standards and national qualificational standards. We have already education quality specialists in 2 ways. That if you are going to an institution, you should have an internal quality specialist in that institution that is taking care of quality. And also, if we are talking about external evaluators, we need specialists trained and to be experts in the field, not only for quality assurance but also for educational aspects of quality. So this is the way we started it, and we also now are lucky to have accreditation as a consortium for this area, for education quality specialists, and we will do job shadowings, visit courses, and of course we will be happy if you can help with this, and we will send you invitation to our Lifelong Learning Week conference that will happen 14th of October this year. And we will invite also not only QualTrack Consortium, but also experts from this field, from European Commission, CEDEFOP, and other countries, and other project that we are in that is focused on how to build quality assured institutions register for individual learning accounts, RALEXILA. So this is shortly what we did till now. We will be happy to see you in Bratislava in October, and this is my last slide that I would like to thank you for your attention, and hope to be in contact. And I believe that this QualTrack project was maybe not mentioned like this, that it will go for systemic changes, but what is happening in Europe now, and definitely in Slovakia, the QualTrack, our country is benefiting and inspired in creation of new adult education law, new Adult Education Act by QualTrack. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Claudius. Your presentation was very useful to deepen our understanding of the methodology and also the philosophy. And it was very important, the characteristic that you described about moving from stars to badges, which was really a constructional change that, as we believe, in the correct direction. And also, thank you for describing the evaluation procedure and informing us of all the activities that are going to take place from now on. Keep everyone updated because there is really interesting work that is being done here. So after having the explanation of the evaluation procedure, I think the next thing that we need to know is about the evaluation criteria. And our So our colleague from Dante Institute, Antonella Marjanovic, will explain us about this. Antonella.
Hi, thank you for the welcome. So I'm Antonella Marjanovic from the Adult Education Institution Dante from Croatia, and I'll tell you a bit more about the QualTrack criteria. Yeah, okay. So I would like to once again remind you that this is the product of 5 different organizations from 5 different European countries. So the Czech Republic, the Slovak Republic, Italy, Greece, and Croatia. So this system has a little bit of our bias and experience of working in our countries, because 2 of the partners are associations of adult education providers, and 3 of them are actual providers of adult education. So the system that we've created has a bit of our own unique perspective there. So when it comes to the assessment areas, Miroslav has already introduced them. We have the essential entry requirements that are kind of a must that you have to complete in order to continue with the assessment process. If you do not meet these requirements, you cannot continue on with the process. And then we have other, let's say, content areas of focusing on the institution itself, its teachers, its learners, how they approach the learners, and then how they approach both the teaching and the learning process. I would like to now invite you to maybe comment in the chat what, from your perspective, what would be the most important area? What do you think? We would like to see what is your kind of point of view. What would you highlight as, if you would look at the quality of the work of institutions, what would you highlight as the most important area to focus on? So please just write in the chat and we can review it later. Okay, when it comes to the process itself, so it has been explained, we start from an online questionnaire that is filled out by institution, and then it is followed up by an assessor visiting the institution and checking whether all of that information provided is factual or not. Well, what is the position of each institution? Now, when it comes to the entry requirements we mentioned, so the entry requirements we have listed are, the first one is that we really require for you to have at least 3 years of experience in adult education. So we think that's the minimum. Then comes whether you follow the legislation specific to your country when it comes to adult education provision, whether you fulfill the basic requirements to the government, to your employees, to your partners, whether you have a liability insurance, and whether you respect intellectual property rights. So these are what we consider basic entry requirements without which you cannot continue on with the process. When it comes to the institution itself, we look at whether you have a clear vision and a mission. What is the internal communication process like for you? We look at how do you keep your documentation? Are you using legal software? Do you have publicly available information about the institution? So do you follow that legislation as well? And then we move on to the teachers. We have a specific requirement here. When it comes to the teachers, we require that at least 50% of the training is delivered by teachers that have an adult education qualification. So this might seem a bit strict, especially considering the fact that in adult education you have quite a variety of professionals with different backgrounds and qualifications. But we think it is essential to strengthen the position of the teacher and to contribute to the professor, making the system a bit more professional in the sense of you really have the experience specific to teaching adults, not that you have any kind of teacher degree that can be used within primary or secondary school. Here we also look at whether you provide continuous professional development for the teachers, whether you continuously evaluate the work of the teachers, and whether you give them feedback. When it comes to the learning process itself, we look at whether you do a needs analysis and then you base the training on the needs analysis, whether you have clearly defined learning goals for a program, whether you check the entry level of the learner before you place them in a program. We also look at whether this learning process is actually relevant for the learner. So do you incorporate real-life examples that are relevant for the profession? Whether you check if the learning objectives have been met, things like this. And of course, so we have looked at the background of the institution, we have looked at the learners, we have looked at the teachers, the learning process, the teaching process, and now also the kind of the prerequisites when it comes to, do you have the adequate facilities? Do you have the necessary equipment to carry out teaching? And of course, in this day and age, we also look at whether you could provide distance learning options as well. And when it comes to the customer approach, so we look at, do you offer a diversity of programs? So this is why we have this requirement of at least 3 different learning programs, and whether you actually adapt the teaching and learning process based on whether an individual has a learning difficulty or maybe a disability. So to ensure this accessibility of learning for everyone. So I have sped up through the criteria. I would like to, so some of you have commented in the chat, you think that the badges might be most important or that the client approach would be most important. I would invite you to think about the QualTrack system that has been presented to you so far, and to think about, what do you like about the system? So what do you think is good about the system? And maybe what should be tweaked or changed a bit to be relevant for you, for your country. So I also invite you to write in the chat, what do you like about the system? Why do you think it would be good and relevant for you? And maybe, are there any changes needed for it to fit in within the legislation of your country? That's it from me.
Thank you, Antonella. I think the description of the criteria was very well presented. Everybody has a good idea about how we make this happen. I also noticed the replies from the participants about the importance of badges and the client approach, which would say it is the first step and the last step of the process. The client approach as the customer needs and the badges as the final result of the whole process. So it's interesting to see that we have the 2 edges of the whole process, while we have a very nice journey in addition, as Miroslav said, that it's all about journey. So thank you very much, Antonella. And we pass to another session that we have designed for you. It is going to be more like a panel discussion, which is going to be sub-coordinated by our colleague from Italy, from Andrea Filippo Calabria, project manager of CEPES. who's going to show and discuss about the lessons learned from the QualTrack project, and also to see how the QualTrack project fits in every country. So.
Hi, Manos. Hello. And it's a very big pleasure to be here today. So thank you for everything so far. And so I'm going to introduce myself. Hello, everyone. My name is Andrea Filippo Calabria, and I'm a project manager in CEIPES, International Center for the Promotion of Education and Development, which is actually based in the beautiful island of Sicily, Italy. Today, we are going to talk about a very nice topic, in my opinion, because I'm not only a project manager, but I'm also an adult educator, and I also work in different fields. So I'm going to give you my perspective in this regard, and as I don't like to do monologue, I would like you to participate via chat and to give me your opinion, because it's going to be very important. I'm going to talk about the evaluation systems for adult education in Italy, but Italy is just my point of view, and we will start from there. Then we are going to move to the rest of Europe. And we are going also to start a very interesting discussion with the rest of the consortium, with the rest of the people who already talked. Yeah, let's see what will happen and what are their replies to my questions. So we can start, we can move on, and with some premises, which in my opinion are very important to highlight, and that the adult learning refers to a wide range of formal and informal learning activities. And I think that adults have many reasons for pursuing some training at their age, and there are many reasons, several reasons for that. They can try to improve their job perspectives. They can try to develop on a personal or on a professional level, and they can also try to obtain new skills, especially what we call the soft skills that are very important in our daily lives. The adult education in this regards can contribute to improving social cohesion and promote active citizenship, and also try to foster competitiveness all across the Europe. In Italy, but this is not, how can I say, just an Italian perspective, because it can be also applied into the rest of Europe. Usually we can divide the competencies into two micro areas. We have the basic literacy, LIT, which is defined as the ability to understand, evaluate, and exploit written text to participate in society and achieves one's goal and develop one's knowledge and potential. And then we have mathematical and scientific literacy, or numeracy, and UM will be the acronyms of this, defined as the ability to access, use, interpret, and communicate mathematical information and ideas in order to engage with and manage the mathematical demands of a range of situations in adult life. This is it's quite easy to understand, it's quite easy to engage, because I think that this is not the only case of Europe, but we also have some guests from other continents, and I think that it's quite similar worldwide. But of course you can use the chat for telling your opinion or your different perspective in these terms. In general, when we talk about the average results obtained in some European countries for these two categories, we see that the top 4 places are often occupied by Finland, Sweden, Norway, and the Netherlands, which are actually the northern part of Europe, while the bottom 4 are occupied by Italy, Spain, France, and Ireland. We have to do a comparison between 2 countries. In this case, we are going to compare the Finns, so the Finnish results with the Italian ones. And we can see that, for example, in LIT, only the 3.3% of Italian adults are placed at the high proficiency levels compared to the 20% in Finland. And in the opposite, at the low levels, we have the 70.3% of the Italian adults, but only the 37.1% of Finns. So yeah, these results are quite impressive. You may think that Italy can be one of the most developed countries in some areas, but when we talk about adult education, we are in a very low position as an European average, and the data talks very clear about this. I'm going to talk very quickly about the adult range, but we can start discussing about some data that are very important in my opinion, and that we don't have only to consider the adult as how can I say, a single range of people, because we need to consider the entire process, the entire lifelong process of a human being that starts from the childhood, and then it passes through the elderly age. And we need to consider that, for example, when we talk about Italy, we are definitely the last one when we talk about LIT, from the young people perspective, some people from 16 to 24 years old. And this is going to affect also the rest of their life, because also in the scholastic system, in the educational system, we start with a very low proficiency of with the people. They, in my opinion, the education system in Italy has a lot of lacks. We are going also to highlight this kind of lacks. And yeah, and it's going to be the same also if we are going to explore further range of ages. And in my opinion, the level of achievement of those with only compulsory education, for example, is better than of other countries similar to Italy, and it is equal to that of young Italians with a diploma. We are talking about, of course, the Northern countries. In the Northern countries, if we are going to compare the people from 16 to 29, for example, in Finland, and people from 16 to 29 years old in Italy, the level is quite different. It's very different. There is a huge level of difference. Based on what was mentioned, which are the factors of this kind of data, this very worrying data? The low average level of general education, as I was telling before, a high number of unemployed and retired people. This can be twofold factor, because it's good that a lot of people can live for a long time in Italy. That's great, of course, but the people, the major part of people in Italy are under 50 age, or and this is a very interesting factor, because yes, we can survive for a long time, that's very good, but at the same time young people are decreasing somehow. Then the high number of people unemployed for more than 12 months. The government is trying to find some solution for this kind of issues, but it's not very easy. And I think that there are also many other obstacles. The government is trying its best, but is not necessary. And then a labor market that tends not to need high qualification skills, but also the high number of non-employed or educated or trained people, the high number of people retired or working exclusively at home. So it can be a different range of factors that can influence the adult education system, not only in Italy, but also in other countries similar to Italy, like France or like Spain. There are also very important historical reasons that we have to keep in mind, like the persistence of incapacitating factors, especially in public investments, and also other incapacitating factors of a cultural nature that cannot be underestimated, like, for example, the traditional system of schools in Italy. In Italy, a lot of institutions, and I'm going also to talk about my personal experience about this, are still very focused on a very traditional way to educate people. So there is the teacher, there is a profession in the academias, they are going to explain you about the lessons, but you have no time, you have no room for personal initiatives. You cannot try to also advance any idea in these regards. So I think that this is another factor that is going to, how can I say, to place Italy in a very low rank in Europe. And also a very limited role associated to the lifelong learning that nowadays fundamental, in my opinion. I think that this is quite similar to other countries, so please tell me yours. Nowadays, if I want to apply for a new job, one of the most important competencies are not only of course, my experience, my educational background, but also the soft skills that I developed in the course of my life. For example, time management or resource management. These are very important factors that we cannot underestimate. And I think that in Italy there is a very lack of knowledge about this kind of factors. So we still focus on education, on your education level. Okay, so you graduated at this university that is very prestigious, but in my opinion, if a human being cannot develop some very important embedded skills in daily life, in my opinion, is not going to success in her or his job. So this is a very interesting reflection, and I would like to hear him from you in these terms. I will be very quickly, because I know that I'm talking too much, so I'm sorry for that. The action on which to focus in the National System of Education and Vocational Education and Training, VET, in order to reverse the causes of the delays highlighted in advance, would seem to privilege the following strategies. So, increasing attention to the recommendation of the Commission, the European Council, and to strengthen youth unemployment and to strengthen basic skills, alignment of vocational education training policies to permeability with other educational offers, and to foster alternative curricula starting from technical and vocational education. So try to make the institution less theoretical and more practical. And then improving the performance of students at high risk of early school leaving, which is a very important factor. It's a very big deal in Italy. A greater use in teaching learning of ICT and online learning platform. We are moving into a digital revolution. The digital revolution already began. And we need to keep up with this revolution. And then the relaunching of a culture of assessment. It's what the QualTrack project is trying to do somehow. And then the revision and strengthening of the professional profile of teaching through innovative and collaborative pedagogical approaches, which is very important. So try to change your mind, try to change the teacher's mind, because it's not only the teacher's fault, but it's the fault. It's on the system in general, in my opinion. Which solution?
Andrea,
Yes.
Andrea, yes. Because time is passing, and I think it is good time now to pass to the panel, if it is
yes, of
okay
course.
for you. Thank you very much for providing all this information, but also for transferring your personal experience. This
yes,
is
yes, of course.
This is even more important to our process, because it's all about people and their experience. It's not about only methodologies or researches. So thank you very much for sharing this personal experience, as you are an adult educator, apart from a project manager to the QualTrack project. And also thank you for sharing this about the connection, the differences between the northern and the southern countries, which I think is a common sense for all of us. So I would like to ask you just to coordinate now this panel session, in order all the partners share a bit the experiences and be a bit more interactive between us. And before that, before giving the floor, just to mention that we have already some questions that after this first round that Andrea coordinates, we can see these questions and reply to them.
Okay. Andrea. So thank you again. Yes, I would like to introduce now the panel discussion with the rest of the partners and the speakers as well. And I would like to start with the first questions that I'm going to the first question that I'm going to ask you is why the QualTrack project is so important for you, in your opinion, and based on your personal experience. I think that we can start from Miroslav, and then we can try to pass to the others' opinion.
Okay. I'm sorry, because I was just checking something else, but yeah, sharing my experience. I think our approach in Czech Republic and from discussions among partners, I think the situation is somehow different in each country, and it's based on current legislation and conditions for educational institutions or learning institutions. So our aim with the QualTrack and also the experience we have so far is to use this tool as an independent tool for quality assessment, because we don't have any state official tool for saying that the institution is somehow in some kind of quality criteria. So we are missing this kind of tool. We believe that although there are some other tools like as Claudio said, like ISO or CAF and other tools, they are quite expensive. They can become quite expensive and quite time-consuming for the institutions. So we believe this tool can be useful because it's simple and very cheap when it will come in work. So and also the feedback from the institution we have is I would say very positive so far. They definitely, we have some questions we have to change, and we have to more precise. But I think that's important factors are that the tool is understandable. It means that the institutions know what we are talking about and why we are checking this and this criteria. And I think that for them it's they also like that the system is quick. When the whole process is well planned, the certification or the assessment can be done during one month. So it's very quick and very straightforward for the institutions. And we believe that after the project finishes, which is in 2 months, that the QualTrack will be used in Czech Republic as the voluntary tool by institutions. And our I would say our long goal is to talk with public authorities and talk with them about quality and show them that they can recognize this tool, this QualTrack tool, as a sign of quality for when institutions are applying for some funding from EU funds or state budget funds or state funding. So we believe that this tool can be also used in future, like recognition recognized by the public authorities. So this is our so far experience and our expectations from QualTrack.
Thank you so much, Miroslav, for this contribute. And I would like to refer the same question to Antonella, if she could give us a perspective on your personal experience in Croatia and within the project context.
Yeah, for us, we think that QualTrack is important because of just the sheer width and complexity of the adult education system. So it covers such a huge range of ages, of topics, of professions, skills, knowledge. It truly really requires a lot from the institutions themselves. From our point of view, in Croatia, we do have actually recently a similar system has been established, has recently finished piloting and is going to be implemented. But what's interesting is that in Croatia, the certification, I think that the decision made by the national agency is valid for 7 years. So it's a long period of time for you to, oh, I'm great at this moment. In 5 years, what's the case? We don't know. So QualTrack kind of keeps you on your toes. It provides a free option for you to check, are you really maintaining this level of quality? Because it is valid for 3 years. So I think this is an added bonus because, okay, it's not at the same level as the Croatian national decision, but it still provides you with a way to check, to self-evaluate, to check and make changes and ensure that you are really maintaining this level of quality. What about you, Andrea?
Oh, yes. The Italian perspective was highly presented during my presentation. So for me, the QualTrack project is an opportunity to try to change a little bit the things. To try to find alternative ways and alternative solutions in terms of quality, because it's a sector that is still not underestimated, as I told you before. And also we have many advantages from the project. Many situations that can be engaged with the adult education system in Italy. I think that it can be a great opportunity for changing the things a little bit, in my opinion. Thank you for the question. And now I would like to ask you about the institution selection process. I will start from myself. I will tell you that for me it was the searching phase started from a national basis, and then I passed to a very local and regional one. Contacting the institutions was not easy at the very beginning, but after they understood the very potential of the project and of what we are doing right now, they were very willing to participate into the assessment process. So I would like to ask you the same. So if you could give us your opinion, and did you find easy or hard to find institutions? If Miro or Claudius wants to tell us something about this.
Okay, if I may, it wasn't so hard because of the processes that I have mentioned, that we have now our ministry fulfilling, completing the Lifelong Adult Education Act, and the processes of QualTrack certification of adult education institutions is one part of this legislation. So our association is doing it advocacy for years. Our first proposal of certification of adult education institutions is dated from 2002, so it's more than 20 years, and we were just fighting, lobbying, doing advocacy because of this. The reason is clear, that if there is some public funding or European funding for adult education, we need quality assured institutions. So and also from my personal view, I'm in this topic for 20 years. I made my PhD dissertation on quality assurance of adult education institutions. I've been to Finland for 1 week, Sweden, for how they do it in many projects connected with quality assurance in adult education. And this is now growing, and the pressure now is on the side of certification of this creation of register of quality assured institutions. And that's why we didn't have a problem to attract institutions to be part of the QualTrack. I would say it was vice versa. We have a new members out of this QualTrack project, because also today they ask for to be part of this process, because the legislation is coming. This is, I would say, very hot topic in a very no, not in every, but in many European countries. And as I mentioned, we are part of a QualTrack Consortium, which was kind of created by European Commission, the European Association for Education of Adults, EAA is coordinating it, and these experts from other countries are looking what is happening in our project. So this is a very good possibility to follow up with this project. I'm not thinking that we will be able to create one common European model that will be compulsory, or it is just a very good inspiration, I would say, for also for other countries, and they can be inspired in the legislation or even on association level. In some countries, it's possible to have accreditation or certification from associations. But yeah, just back to the question, we as for the selection of institutions, we had more interested institutions that we can accept, but we will use also following projects to do it. And in Slovakia, from 1st of January 2025, it is, we hope that it will be passed, the legislature, the parliament, and this process will be done by our ministry. So those assessors will be appointed by our Ministry of Education. The chef of this committee will be from ministry, and this will be the process that will be for those who would like to use individual learning accounts, the certification of institutions. Thanks.
Thank you, Gladys.
Sorry. I would just have one comment, because this underlined one thing very important, and we haven't mentioned it very specifically, but it's the role of the organizer of the evaluation or the assessment, because as we are here, the partners of the project, each partner is the organizer of the QualTrack assessment in the specific country, and we need this organizer because of running the process and also training the external assessors. We need some institution who can select and guarantee that the external assessors are in such a quality as needed, as stated. And this is also reflects the question, and Jana already answered it in the comments, how after the end of the project, if there are any fee or costs for the assessment. Yes, this is the reason for costing our services. The certification won't be free, but will be very cheap in comparison to the other systems, because our costs, and this is also other benefit, most organizers are NGOs, so it's obvious that we are not doing this for a business. We are doing it because we would like to promote the quality, and we would like to cultivate the process of education. So this is NGO initiative primarily in Czech Republic, and I believe also in other countries. And the costs of the management will cover the selection of evaluators, their remuneration of evaluators, and some very little costs of operating the website, the online tool, and things like that. So in Czech Republic, we expect the fee will be around 500 euros per assessment. Thank you.
Thank you to the both of you. I think that your experience it's a source of inspiration also for other countries, and also outside from the consortium ones. So thank you so much. I have another question regarding the process for selecting the assessors, because as you know, for evaluating what the institutions declared into the self-assessment questionnaire, we need some evaluators, some assessors. And I would like to know from you, for your personal experience, how was the process, and how did you select these evaluators? We can start from, yes, from Miroslav.
Okay, I think it's once more time connected to the institution of organizer, because at the moment the institution or the organizer is a recognized or well-known institution and has connections and has knowledge of the field of education. Then it's quite I wouldn't say easy, but it's definitely easier to approach and to get in touch with different professionals in education. And during the piloting, we selected specific persons we know from our professional history. So it was based on personal knowledge and personal connections. But to make it sustainable to the future, we also, in the methodology of QualTrack framework, we proposed some procedure how to select external assessors. So it means for the future, the system is open, and when the interested professional succeeds the criteria or meets the criteria, then anyone finally anyone can act like an external assessor. So in the piloting, we didn't have any problems because we used professionals. We know that they are really good ones and of good quality.
Thank you so much. My perspective is not very easy to find people who can assess in a very objective way. So it's very important to find the right people when it comes to evaluate some important institutions like the adult learning providers. So thank you for your experience. I have another question, and this one is for Antonella. And I would like to ask you, in which ways do you anticipate that the findings and the outcomes of the QualTrack project will inform future policy and practice in adult education?
Yeah, when it comes to Croatia, it already is kind of in line with existing policies here and relevant acts. But I think it might be really useful for other countries who have still not gone into this process, or maybe are still looking into making changes to their adult education acts and legislation. I think we really see a lot of similarities between the QualTrack system and other existing quality systems. There is an overlap with Croatia as well. So I think it really can inform countries and institutions in what way, kind of where to look, or what to select as the primary areas, what to look into, because, and as well as this approach of starting with self-evaluation, starting with an easier process, entry process, which can be done online. You can follow it with some structured interviews online, and then follow it up with a meeting in person with a check in person from a hopefully a non-biased evaluator. So this, I think, is a process that works well. Yes, you have this additional maybe barrier and step of an external evaluator, but this is, I think, really something that ensures that we meet the criteria. When you see in person, especially when you have a chance to talk with the teachers, with the learners, with other companies the institution works with, you really get an overview of the institutions, how the people inside feel about its work.
Thank you so much for your question. Of course, if the people want to ask something during these panel discussions, can do it, because I think that also hearing from you and from your point of view is very important, and it can enrich a lot our project.
That's true, Andrea, and I like very much that most of the questions covered through the panel discussion are the same with the ones already raised also from the participants. And some answers have already been given from Ms. Yana Brabkova online on the comments. But it is good now to make a recap on this because maybe some of you don't have access to the comments and have you not checked the answers. So the first question that we had is, where can I find the accredited institutions in each country? All the institutions that are going to be accredited through the piloting process of the QualTrack projects are going to be presented on QualTrack website, which is QualTrack.eu. So everybody can see the other education institutes that took part in the process and succeeded with the assessment process are going to be there. So it is going to act, let's say, like a database where we're going to provide this information about the institutes in each country of the 5 participating countries. The second question that we actually also covered is how can one become certified as an educator? As already my other colleagues shared with you, the selection of the evaluators was critical for the process in order to make the assessment in the best possible way. So in each country, anyone who would like to become an evaluator can contact the partner in the respective country, come in touch with them, because the process is still ongoing and there's still, I think, place in order to make even better and more effective efforts to this direction. And the last question about the sustainability, actually, of our project. After the end of the project, if there is going to be any cost for the accreditation procedure, as Yana has written in the also Miroslav mentioned, the system is developed. So the major cost has already been covered, the system is there and it is working, so there is no need for further financial support. So it depends more on the personnel costs about occurred with the certifying and assessment process. And this can be taken into account depending in each country, which can be approximately 500 euros, which, as one of the participants says, this is really low cost. I think these were the questions already raised. If anyone from my colleagues in the panel wants to add something before closing this webinar, yes, Claudius.
Yeah, just one remark as for the external evaluators. As I said, we use 3, and our experience was that we asked those institutions to be assessed whether they agree, because those evaluators are get in contact with confidential information, and this is what I forgot to mention during describing the processes. So yeah, but what I would like to stress is also that those evaluators visiting institutions, it is kind of peer review, because they learn a lot also. It's not like they are just highly professionals and they are judging, but it is a mutual beneficial process. That is our experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Gavdius, for the clarification. It is very important information, because its evaluator comes in touch with very private information that have to do with inside the regulations of each organization. So in general, we have many things to clarify. It's not that somebody will apply for being evaluator, it is suddenly approved. It's an ongoing process, which also includes an assessment from this perspective. Before closing, would you like to say something? Then, just to mention that the webinar is recorded. A link is going to be uploaded on YouTube. Links are going to be provided through the Skillman network and also through the QualTrack webpage and social media, so anybody can go and visit it. I would like to thank very much all my colleagues from QualTrack, Jana, Miroslav, Antonella, Andrea, and Claudius. I would also like to thank Mr. Giovanni Crisona and the Skillman Network for hosting our webinar. I would like to thank, of course, the person behind the scenes, Alessandro Martella, for his support with all these technical issues. Without him, it would be impossible to manage with it. And of course, to thank all the participants for joining us. I hope they found it useful, and stay in touch with us also in the future.
Thank you, Manos. Fantastic work.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.